It's William Nicholson's second film as a director, and it is a world away from the things that he's most well known for. He co-wrote Gladiator, Unbroken, Les Miserables, but this is a very ordinary story with recognizable emotions, and it's namely the shock of someone you've spent your entire life with saying or doing something that in your eyes makes them a total stranger. And here it's one day, Edward, played by Bill Nighy, tells his wife, Grace, played by Annette Bening, that he wants to leave. He's met someone else. And I love the details of this scene. It's the way he grips the mug of tea like it's a comfort blanket, which is very British, and the way that he struggles to make eye contact. But then Grace has no reaction. She is strangely and disconcertingly cheery. There's no crying. She tells him, well, I don't think our marriage is over. Let's just work on it. I feel like you're not even trying. And this is sort of how the film continues. There's a great clip that's going to illustrate their relationship.
Hello, I'm here too. Hello, hello, hello.
How are you, Grace?
Fine, fine, fine.
Thank you for this, Peter.
Shall we proceed?
By all means.
This is the summary of the financial agreement. This is the deed signing over the house into your sole name, Mrs. Axton. This is the application for the decree. All you have to do is sign by the yellow tags.
Huh. What happens if I don't?
Then this agreement is set aside and we start again. But I have to say, in your interest, that this is a very good settlement. No court would give half as much. You get the entire value of the family home.
Stop it!
Mum?
How can he sit there and say that I get the entire value of the family home?
Okay, and so throw into that mix their son, Jamie, played by Josh O'Connor, who Edward invites back home to basically serve as a buffer. And he's trying to soothe his mother's worries the best that he can. And I love Josh O'Connor. I feel like he has such a gentle, subdued aura to him, which works really nicely here. And he's also privately worrying whether maybe his own floundering relationships is proof that he is turning into his dad. And the setting is very pleasant and unobtrusive as possible. This is a middle-class family living in very picturesque Seaford, where they can take daily walks up to the cliffs to ponder life's mysteries. The cinematography here is by Anna Valdez-Hanks, and it's very bright and crisp, and it's picture postcard perfect. Edward is a teacher. Grace is putting together a poetry analogy called I Have Been Here Before, which is the idea that every feeling is a recycled one and has been experienced countless times in history. And I feel like these very gentle, placid surroundings have a way of just amplifying the distress of the characters here, especially Grace, who is experiencing every stage of the grief process and then 5 more stages beyond.
Yeah.
Some of the actions here are genuinely heartbreaking. There's a moment where she's just sitting on the stairs waiting for Edward to come home. And then there are others that are a little bit more absurd. She gets a puppy and names it after her husband, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And she talks about her experiences as if it was as bad as the widows and orphans of war, which is, I would say, a bit dramatic. And not to say anything remotely negative about the great Annette Bening, but her British accent, I think maybe you heard it from the clip, is a little bit off. It's not, there's something quite strange about it, but I actually like it because there is this measured, dreamlike tone to it.
It's really deep and it's kind of really
Yes.
And it's almost like for me, I felt like it was almost her the voice was trying to not show any emotion, because at times she's almost like emotionless, like that she can't show emotion sort of thing. She seems a very cold character, and I almost felt like the voice kind of was a great representation of that in a way.
Yeah, and I think bringing out the more eccentric parts of the character, because there is something, I mean, not absurd about her, but there's a little bit of oddness to her reactions, and I think that voice makes that character feel believable.
There's a scene where she kind of volunteering at a call centre for, people who are lonely, who want to speak to someone. And I think it's such a great scene, because she's obviously projecting her troubles. It's like, well, who's the person calling in here right now? It's quite an interesting dynamic in that scene.
Yeah, and the only negative I would add to this is that there's a lot of metaphors in this film. It's adapted from William Nicholson's own play that was Tony nominated, and that was called Retreat from Moscow, and Edward tells the story to his pupils, and it's Napoleon's failed invasion of 1812, and that's meant to be a metaphor for the death of a marriage, but he's also talking about cash payments, and it's all contactless now, and you want to go, oh, just like human interactions.
Yeah.
And there's a thing about Grace's tea always going cold, and she says, oh, well, I suppose I don't like things to end, because she never finishes her
Cup of
tea.
tea,
And it's
yeah.
like, oh, just like a
I do
relationship.
That's my bad habit, and one of never finish a cup of tea.
But I would imagine on stage, having all these dense metaphors would come off beautifully and come off interesting and dense. But on film, when a camera can tell you so many things about a character's state of mind, I feel like you don't need that.
Like
I
when
think
you
in
mentioned about Bill Nye's character clutching
See
a cup
that?
of tea. Yeah.
Those are the moments that really told me about the characters, not him going, oh, it's all contactless now.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think apart from that, I mean, the performances are beautiful. The
Yeah.
setting is beautiful. I would just say it's one of those great instances of showing, okay, well, this is why film and theatre are two very different things.
Yeah, I love the sort of I love the sort of play-like essence of it. You know, it could very well have just been on a stage sort of thing as well. I love that about it. But yeah, I thought performances were great. I love Josh. I think he's just,
He is great.
yeah, those three are just brilliant actually in this film. I thought it was great.